The mining colony of Ridge 9 sat quietly at the edge of human space, far from large trade routes and busy stations. Life on the colony moved slowly, with long work hours and simple routines. But for Evan Carter, each day carried a spark of curiosity. While others saw Ridge 9 as a small, dull place, Evan saw it as a wide field of mysteries waiting to be uncovered. Evan was 23 years old, tall but light in build, with a calm face that made people trust him easily. He worked as an engineer, repairing mining tools, power generators, and old machinery that others considered beyond saving. Many on the colony liked him, though they often joked that he was too curious for his own good. Evan never minded the words. He believed curiosity was the best tool he had. Most days after work, he took long walks into unused mining tunnels. These tunnels, left abandoned after their mineral supply dried up, stretched deep into the rocky ground. Some areas were dangerous because of shifting stones, weak supports, or strange gases, but Evan always brought the right equipment. For him, exploring these places was not a risk. It was excitement. On one quiet evening, as the sun dipped behind orange hills, Evan packed his exploration kit. Inside were a scanner, a portable lamp, a small power core, metal cutters, and a notebook where he kept sketches of unusual finds. He wore a light breathing mask in case of dust or gas pockets. With everything ready, he entered Tunnel 47, an old shaft that had been closed for years. Tunnel 47 was long, narrow, and almost silent except for the soft echo of Evan's footsteps. Dusty rails lay on the ground, once used for transport carts. Fallen rocks filled many sections. Evan moved carefully, tapping walls to check their stability. He reached an area he had never entered before. A recent rock slide had blocked what looked like a side passage. Large stones covered the opening, but behind them, Evan heard something unusual, a faint metallic echo, like hollow space beyond. "Maybe there's an old storage room behind this," he whispered to himself. He set his lamp on the ground and started clearing the stones. It took time, patience, and careful movements, but Evan enjoyed such tasks. After about an hour, he created a small opening wide enough to slip through. Dust filled the air, making his mask useful. Once inside, he realized he had stepped into a hidden cavern, not a small room, but a vast, natural chamber that stretched far beyond what his lamp could fully reveal. Stalactites hung from the ceiling like silent spears. The ground was uneven, covered with gravel and undisturbed dust. Evan's heart beat faster. This place had clearly not been touched by humans in decades, maybe centuries. He slowly swept his lamp across the cavern, and then he froze. At the far end of the chamber stood a massive, silent figure, tall, still, and coated in thick layers of dust. Its surface was metallic and smooth, shaped like a giant armored silhouette. The figure was almost 3 times taller than Evan, with broad shoulders, long arms, and heavy plates covering its body. Glowing lines, though dim and nearly invisible, ran across its armor. Evan took a deep breath. His first thought was simple and innocent. It must be an old alien mining robot. He had seen pictures of alien devices in books, though never in real life. Many abandoned machines from forgotten civilizations had been found across the galaxy, some valuable, some harmless. But this one looked different. He slowly approached it, placing each step with care. The figure did not move. Its arms hung at its sides, one hand partly open, the other holding what looked like a broken handle. Strange symbols were carved into its chest, symbols that did not match any known alien writing he had seen in textbooks. The machine stood inside a shallow indentation in the rock, almost like a resting place. Around it lay pieces of metal, small energy cells, and dust-covered fragments of armor. Evan moved closer until he stood right in front of it. His lamp reflected on its surface, revealing scratches, dents, and faded marks from what appeared to be old battles. But its overall shape remained strong and powerful. He reached out and gently brushed his fingers across its arm. A soft tone rang out, a sound so faint he almost missed it. Evan pulled his hand back, eyes wide, but nothing else happened. The machine remained still. "Maybe it has a touch sensor," he whispered, fascinated rather than frightened. Evan set his bag down and took out his scanner. He pointed it at the machine and tapped the screen. The scanner flickered. Unknown energy source detected. Low power state. Structure. Alloy composition not recognized. System signals faint, dormant. Evan frowned. Usually, even old alien machines showed some known elements, common alloys, familiar circuits, or stored data. But this one seemed completely foreign. The scanner could not identify its material, age, or origin. He circled the machine, taking notes in his book. Large armored frame, unknown writing, energy readings low but stable, no visible damage to core structure. He found a panel on its back that looked like an access point. The panel had no screws, no hinges, just a smooth indentation. Evan pressed it gently, and a soft blue light spread along the outline. The panel slid open silently. Inside, he saw what appeared to be a power connector, though not one he recognized. It was shaped differently, but close enough that he believed he could adapt one of his portable power cores. Evan hesitated. Should I try powering it? He wondered aloud. He felt excitement rising in him. Finding an alien machine in such good condition was extraordinary. Bringing it back to life, even partially, would be an achievement few humans could claim. Carefully, he took out his portable power core. Using a few universal adapters and his skill with wiring, he created a makeshift connection that matched the shape of the port. The moment he pressed the core into place, a soft vibration passed through the machine. Evan stepped back. A low hum filled the cavern, like a deep breath being drawn after a long sleep. The glowing lines on the machine's body brightened faintly, dust falling off in small clouds. Its chest plates flickered with soft pulses of light. Evan stared, amazed. "It's waking up," he said, voice barely above a whisper. The machine's eyes lit up, two narrow, bright bands of blue that cut through the darkness. The cavern glowed softly with their light. Evan froze in place, unsure what to do. His heart raced, but he felt no fear, only awe. The giant machine slowly moved its head. First to the left, then to the right, like someone trying to remember where they were. Its joints made soft, mechanical sounds, nothing harsh or aggressive. Finally, it lowered its gaze and looked directly at him. Evan held his breath. The machine took one step forward, heavy but controlled. Its massive foot pressed into the dust, leaving a deep imprint. It straightened its back and stood tall, towering over Evan. And then, to Evan's surprise, the machine knelt. Its right knee touched the ground, its head bowed slightly. The gesture was slow, precise, and almost respectful. A calm, deep voice echoed from within its armored body. "Activation recognized. Identity not found. New controller registered." Evan blinked, completely taken off guard. "Controller? Me?" he said softly. The machine lifted its head and met his eyes again. "Designation required. Awaiting assignment." Evan let out a small, nervous laugh. I guess I'll call you Titan. You're big enough for the name." The machine paused, processing. "Designation accepted. Unit name, Titan. Awaiting further instructions." Evan felt a strange mix of joy and confusion. He had expected to find an old relic, maybe even a broken device. Instead, he had woken something ancient, powerful, and obedient to him. He did not know that far beyond Ridge 9, in deep space, old sensors had detected Titan's reactivation. Long dormant systems flickered alive. Silent alerts traveled through forgotten networks. Alien empires far from human space noticed the signal, but Evan, standing alone in the dim cavern, knew nothing of this. He simply looked up at Titan with wonder. "Let's get you out of here," he said. Titan rose to its full height again, and the galaxy began to stir. Evan stood at the edge of the hidden cavern, watching Titan rise to its full height. The giant machine's blue eyes glowed softly, filling the darkness with a calm light. Titan did not move unless Evan moved first. It stood quietly waiting for instructions, like a soldier awaiting orders from a trusted leader. Evan, still amazed, tried to gather his thoughts. He picked up his exploration tools and walked to the entrance he had opened earlier. The gap was far too small for Titan to pass through. Evan looked at the rock wall, then back at the towering machine. "Titan, can you follow me?" Evan asked. Titan's voice echoed gently. "Yes, Controller Evan." Evan raised a hand quickly. "Just call me Evan, not Controller." Titan paused. "Acknowledged, Evan." The machine stepped closer, and the ground trembled softly under its weight. Evan pointed to the rock wall blocking the tunnel. "Can you clear this?" he asked. Titan lifted its hand, placing its broad palm against the stone. Soft blue lights pulsed along its arm. Then, with slow and precise movement, Titan pushed. The wall cracked with a deep sound. Rocks broke apart like dried clay. Titan cleared the passage easily, creating a wide path without causing damage to the ceiling. Evan's eyes widened. "Wow, you're strong." Titan said nothing, but its posture seemed almost proud. They entered the tunnel together. Evan walked ahead with his lamp, while Titan's glowing eyes lit the path behind him. The tunnel seemed smaller than usual with Titan inside. The machine walked carefully, keeping its steps controlled. Evan noticed the effort and smiled. Titan was trying not to cause harm. When they reached the main shaft, Evan paused. If anyone saw Titan right now, the whole colony would panic. Ridge 9 had never seen advanced alien technology, let alone something that looked like a metal giant. "Titan," Evan said quietly, "we need to move very carefully. People may get scared." Titan processed this slowly. "Evan does not wish to cause fear." "Exactly," Evan replied. "So follow my lead." He turned off his lamp and walked toward the exit. Titan matched his pace perfectly. When they reached the surface, the evening air hit them gently. The sky was dark blue, with stars beginning to appear. Titan looked up at them, as if studying the sky for the first time. Evan took a moment to admire the scene, too, then motioned Titan to stay close. They walked toward a small shed near his home. The shed was large enough for farming tools, but not for a giant machine. Still, Evan hoped Titan could hide behind it until he figured out what to do. But Titan had other ideas. As they reached the open field, Titan's core glowed slightly. Its armor cracked in certain sections, not broken, but separating like sliding plates. Then Titan knelt, lowered its shoulders, and folded its arms. Its entire body compressed slowly, shifting into a more compact shape. Evan gasped. Titan had shrunk by half, not small enough to hide inside the shed, but small enough to crouch behind it without drawing too much attention. "You can change your shape?" Evan asked in awe. Titan replied calmly, "Adaptive form, designed for transport and stealth." Evan shook his head lightly, impressed. "That's perfect. Stay here. I'll get some equipment." He hurried inside his small home and returned with cleaning tools, diagnostic devices, and spare batteries. Titan watched him with steady eyes, scanning everything around it. Evan started cleaning the dust off Titan's armor. As he wiped away layers of dirt, the metal beneath shone like polished silver mixed with deep blue lines. Titan remained still, almost like a statue. But Evan felt a strange sense of connection. This machine trusted him. Titan, Evan asked. Do you know where you came from? Titan paused before answering. My creation records are damaged. Only partial data remains. I was designed for advanced operations. Purpose unclear. Evan's hand slowed. Do you remember your creators? Another pause. Information incomplete. Memories locked. Evan frowned thoughtfully. He wanted to help Titan recover its past, but he also feared what that past might reveal. Titan seemed peaceful now, but what if it had been made for dangerous missions? Still, Evan believed in fairness. Titan had not shown any harmful behavior. It followed instructions calmly and showed respect. As he continued cleaning, Titan suddenly lifted its head and looked toward the sky. Unidentified signals detected. Evan froze. What kind of signals? Titan's voice remained calm. Small surveillance drones, 3 units, approaching from upper atmosphere. Evan's eyes widened. No one on Ridge 9 used drones like that. Human drones were slow and loud, but these were probably silent, advanced, and alien. Are they looking for you? Evan asked quietly. Unknown, Titan answered. But their scanning frequency matches long-range detection units. Evan's heart raced. If aliens were searching for Titan, then this machine was far more important than he expected. What should we do? Evan whispered. Titan stood slowly and spread its arms slightly. Blue energy waves pulsed along its body. A gentle hum filled the air. Scanning blocked, Titan said. Drones cannot detect us. Evan let out a breath. You can do that? Yes, Titan answered. Shielding protocols active. Evan looked up at the dark sky. He couldn't see the drones, but he trusted Titan's sensors. If aliens were sending surveillance equipment, then Titan's reactivation had triggered something huge. We need to stay hidden, Evan said at last. Titan lowered itself again to its compact shape. Evan covered it with a large tarp and plants from the shed, trying to make it look like farming equipment. Titan stayed silent, its eyes dimming to a soft glow. Hours passed. The drones finally moved away, slipping back into the sky like small shadows. Evan sat on the ground, tired but relieved. Titan watched him quietly. You protected us, Evan said. It is my task, Titan replied. You activated me. I follow your guidance. Evan's thoughts were mixed. Titan was powerful, far more powerful than anything humans had built. But instead of acting violent or hostile, the machine acted gentle, respectful, and loyal. Evan knew that Titan trusted him completely. The responsibility felt heavy, but also meaningful. As midnight approached, Evan thought about the future. He could not hide Titan forever. And with alien drones already arriving, the colony might soon face unwanted trouble. Titan, Evan said softly. We need to understand your abilities. Titan sat upright. Ready for evaluation. Evan took out his scanner again. With Titan's help, he connected the scanner to Titan's data ports. Lines of unfamiliar code filled the screen. Most systems locked, Titan explained. Damage repairs incomplete. Power levels low. How do we fix that? Evan asked. I require energy cores, Titan answered. High-density cells, preferably advanced alien type. Evan rubbed his chin. Ridge 9 had no alien cores, but he knew of old mining stations where rare energy crystals were sometimes found. I might know a place, Evan said, but it's far from the colony. Titan responded, I can travel. Evan smiled faintly. Let's wait until morning. Titan nodded. I will remain in standby mode. The giant machine's eyes dimmed completely, and its body fell into stillness like a sleeping guardian. Evan stood up and watched Titan's quiet form. He felt a strange comfort knowing Titan was nearby. This machine, ancient and mysterious, had chosen to protect him instead of causing trouble. But Evan knew this peace might not last. If the galaxy had noticed Titan's awakening, trouble might come very soon. As he walked back to his home, he looked over his shoulder. Titan did not move. The tarp covering it fluttered lightly in the breeze, and the moonlight reflected softly on its metal edges. Evan had no idea what ancient purpose Titan once served, but he knew one thing. He had awakened something far greater than a simple robot. And somewhere in deep space, old powers were beginning to move. The next morning on Ridge 9 began quietly, as it always did. Soft sunlight spilled over the low hills, and workers prepared for another day in the mines. Nothing on the surface showed that something extraordinary rested behind Evan's small shed, an ancient machine waiting in silent standby. Evan did not sleep well. His mind kept returning to the moment Titan detected alien surveillance drones. He sat at his small kitchen table, staring at a simple breakfast he barely touched. The world suddenly felt bigger, heavier, and far less peaceful than it had the day before. After finishing his meal, he stepped outside. The air was cool and the sky was clear. Birds circled above the colony. Everything looked normal. But Evan knew the truth. The galaxy was stirring. He walked behind his shed. Titan remained exactly where he left it, covered by a tarp and branches. The machine looked like a large pile of tools or scrap metal. Evan gently lifted the cover. Titan's eyes lit up softly. "Good morning, Evan." Evan smiled a little. "Morning, Titan. Did you rest well?" "Standby mode complete," Titan replied. "No threats detected during low activity period." That made Evan feel slightly better, though he knew Titan's definition of threat was likely complex. "We should start working on your repairs today," Evan said. "There's an old mining station near the cliffs. It has some rare crystals and energy cores." "Understood," Titan answered. Titan stood slowly, unfolding itself back into its full height. The ground vibrated lightly under its weight. Evan could not help but admire the mechanical grace. Titan moved like a trained guardian, calm, silent, confident. "Follow me," Evan said. They walked across the field toward the path leading to the cliffs. Evan kept his pace normal, but Titan adjusted its speed carefully to avoid drawing attention. Each step was quiet, controlled, and thoughtful. As they moved farther from the colony, Evan took a deep breath. "Titan, yesterday you said alien drones scanned this area. Why would they be looking for you?" Titan paused while walking. "Reactivation signal may have reached old monitoring networks." "What kind?" Evan asked. "Networks built to detect units like me," Titan answered. Evan felt a chill. "Units like you?" "Yes," Titan said. "War sentinels." Evan stopped walking. He turned slowly to face Titan. "You were made for war?" Titan lowered its head gently, as if choosing its words carefully. "My original purpose is unclear, but records suggest I was designed for large-scale conflict. However, memory banks are damaged. Many functions locked." Evan swallowed. Titan had never shown aggression since waking. But learning that this giant machine was a war sentinel made him nervous. Still, he remembered what he saw, the machine kneeling politely, guarding him from drones, moving with care to avoid harming anything. Titan was not a danger by choice. It followed Evan's guidance, not old orders. "Whatever you were made for," Evan said softly. "You are different now." Titan's eyes glowed brighter. "Your guidance shapes my actions." Evan felt a warmth in his chest. Titan trusted him deeply, and that trust mattered more than anything else. They continued walking until they reached the old mining station. It sat at the edge of a high cliff overlooking a deep valley filled with glowing plants and silver stones. The station was broken, with rusted parts scattered across the ground and collapsed roofs leaning at odd angles. Titan scanned the area. "No active threats. Structure unstable. Proceed with caution." Evan smiled. "You sound like my old safety instructor." He led Titan inside. The station was dusty and dim, with long corridors lit only by small cracks of sunlight. The air smelled of metal and age. "This place was shut down before I was even born," Evan said. "But they found rare energy crystals here. Some are still kept in storage rooms." Titan scanned the walls. Energy readings detected, level appropriate for core repair. They entered a large storage hall. Shelves had mostly fallen, but small glowing crystals lay on the ground like scattered stars. Titan picked one up gently. The crystal lit up brighter when it touched Titan's hand. "These will help you?" Evan asked. "Yes," Titan replied. "They contain high-density energy compatible with my core." Evan collected a few crystals, while Titan processed one internally. Soft blue light pulsed through Titan's armor, and some of the cracks and faded lines began to brighten again. Suddenly, Titan froze. "Evan," Titan said, "movement detected." Evan's heart jumped. "Where?" Titan pointed toward the entrance. "Small flying units approaching. Not human." Evan turned and saw 3 small drones float through the broken door. They were sleek, silver, and shaped like thin discs with glowing lenses. They moved silently, scanning everything they passed. "Are they more of the same kind from yesterday?" Evan whispered. "Yes," Titan said. "Zarathi design, reconnaissance drones." Evan crouched behind an old tool rack. Titan stepped in front of him protectively, blocking the line of sight. One drone hovered closer, blinking with scanning lights. It detected the glowing crystal energy in Titan's hand. The drone's light flashed red. "Titan," Evan whispered urgently, "don't destroy them." "I will not harm them," Titan replied. "Non-violent action preferred." Titan raised its hand and released a soft, pulsing field of blue light. The drones fluttered like insects caught in a breeze. Their scanners dimmed, their lights flickered, and they slowly drifted down to the ground, landing gently as if falling asleep. Evan stared in amazement. "You disabled them without damaging anything?" "Yes," Titan said. "You prefer peaceful methods." Evan nodded. "Thank you." But Titan added something that made Evan uneasy. "More may come. This is only the first response." He knew the machine was right. If drones were coming, alien ships might follow. They finished gathering the crystals quickly and left the station before more drones arrived. On the way back, Evan asked, "Why are they so interested in you?" Titan answered, "War sentinels were rare. Only a few were created. Their return would concern many civilizations." "So they think you're dangerous?" Evan asked gently. "Possibly," Titan said. "War sentinels were known for strength and advanced abilities." Evan touched Titan's arm softly. "But you're not like that anymore." Titan replied, "Because of you." Evan didn't know what to say. Titan's loyalty felt sincere. When they returned to the colony, Evan hid Titan behind the shed again. Then he took the crystals inside to study them. While he worked, Titan sat quietly, monitoring the sky. Hours passed. Later that evening, Titan suddenly spoke through Evan's window. "Evan, you must see this." Evan rushed outside. Titan projected a small hologram from its arm. The display showed a view from high above Ridge 9. In orbit, 3 alien ships had appeared. They were sleek, dark, and shaped like curved blades. "These are not drones," Titan said. "These are Zarathi scouts." Evan's heart pounded. "Are they here for you?" "It is likely," Titan replied. "What are they going to do?" Before Titan could answer, the ships began scanning the surface. Wide beams of light crossed the land. One passed dangerously close to the colony. Titan stepped closer to Evan. "We must protect this place." Evan felt fear rise inside him, but also determination. Titan wasn't just a machine. Titan was a guardian, and Evan was responsible for guiding him. "What do we do?" Evan asked. Titan answered in a calm, steady voice. "We prepare." Evan nodded. Then teach me what you can do. Titan's eyes glowed brighter than before. Together, the machine said, we will face whatever arrives. And far above them, the first alien fleet to visit Ridge 9 continued its silent search, unaware that the humans standing beside Titan had already changed the fate of their mission. Elias stood inside the heart of Titan 07, surrounded by rings of bright blue lights that rotated slowly around him. They had not touched him, but he could feel a warm energy in the air. Titan 07 said it was only a scan, but Elias knew it was more than that. The machine was trying to understand him fully, his decisions, his emotions, and even his fears. Yet Elias felt no danger. For some reason, Titan 07 always showed him a calm presence, even now, when the giant machine was ready to face a full galactic blockade outside. As the last ring of light faded, Titan 07 spoke in a firm but peaceful voice. Scan complete. Emotional pattern stable. Decision consistency high. Loyalty to peace confirmed. Elias let out a slow breath. Good, he said quietly, because we're going to need all the peace possible today. The blockade tightens. Outside Titan 07's hidden chamber, the situation was far from calm. Hundreds of alien ships surrounded the planet in a wide formation. The sky above the mining settlement was streaked with long trails of incoming drones and scouts. Several alien species sent alert signals across the galaxy. No one wanted Titan 07 to wake. No one expected it to bond with a human. And no one knew what Elias would do next. Inside one command ship, an alien leader named Vale watched the screens closely. He belonged to the Serath Union, a species known for calm logic. Yet his voice shook slightly when he spoke. The humans have activated the machine, he said. We cannot allow that weapon to leave the planet. His officers looked uneasy. One of them asked softly, should we begin the disabling procedure? Vael hesitated. A direct attack might provoke the machine. A warning might anger the humans. And waiting too long might let Titan 07 escape. No decision was safe. We hold our positions, Vael said finally. Observe and prepare. But even he knew that prepare meant something very heavy. Elias makes a choice. In Titan 07's chamber, Elias studied a large holographic screen that showed the blockade outside. Small red dots marked enemy ships. The dots kept multiplying. Elias pressed a hand to his forehead. I didn't want this, he said. I only wanted to fix you. I never meant to cause trouble. Titan 07 turned its glowing eye toward him, the light rising and falling gently. You repaired me, Titan 07 replied. That action alone changed the galaxy's expectations. Elias sighed. I guess I really did something big without knowing. You acted with good intent, Titan 07 said. Intent shapes outcome. Elias smiled faintly. You always say things like that. Makes you sound wiser than any human. Titan 07 paused, as if calculating something. I am not wise, the machine answered. But I learn from you. Elias felt something warm in his chest. He had never expected a towering alien war machine to speak in such a gentle way, but Titan 07 was unlike anything the stories had described. Okay, Elias finally said. What do we do now? The galaxy waits for a signal, Titan 07 said. If I try to leave, they will attempt to stop us. If I remain still, they will tighten the blockade. If I speak, they will react. Elias rubbed his chin thoughtfully. So, talk to them? Maybe tell them you're not dangerous anymore? That you don't want to fight? Titan 07 tilted its head. They will not believe such words. They fear what I was, not what I am. Elias nodded slowly. Fear was harder to remove than metal rust. But you changed, he insisted. You said you want a peaceful purpose now. Titan 07 answered with a calm hum, almost like a deep breath. That is correct, But fear does not listen easily. A long silence filled the chamber. Then Elias made a choice, a dangerous one, a brave one. "I'll talk to them." Titan 07's eye brightened sharply. "You intend to speak to a galactic fleet alone?" "Not alone," Elias said. He placed his hand on Titan 07's metal plating. "With you." Preparing the message. Titan 07 moved to the center of the chamber. Panels unfolded from the walls, forming a large communication ring around them. Symbols drifted through the air as Titan 07 connected to channels across the blockade. Elias stared in amazement. "It looks like a giant puzzle." "It is a communication lattice," Titan 07 said. "It will broadcast your message to all fleets." Elias gulped. "No pressure then." "You can withdraw if you wish," Titan 07 said gently. "No," Elias answered. "I started this. I'll handle it." Titan 07 seemed to acknowledge this with a soft pulse of blue light. Elias stepped onto the projection platform. A warm glow surrounded him, and his voice would soon be carried across the stars. Titan 07 began the countdown. "Transmission in 10 seconds." Elias's heart pounded. He thought about his quiet life, his small mining job, his love for fixing old machines, and now he was about to speak to an entire galaxy. 5 seconds. Elias inhaled deeply. 3. He closed his eyes. 2. He opened them again. 1. The light flared. Elias speaks to the galaxy. Across dozens of alien screens, across commanders' tables, across scout ships and science vessels, Elias's image appeared. A simple young human, not a soldier, not a leader, just a man standing beside a giant war machine. Many commanders looked confused. Some leaned closer, others frowned. Elias's voice echoed clearly. "My name is Elias. I'm just a technician from a small mining team. I didn't wake Titan 07 to start trouble. I fixed him because he looked broken. That's all." Some aliens glanced at each other. A few laughed nervously. Some remained stiff and silent. "But now that he's awake," Elias continued, "I want to tell you something important. He's not the same machine he was before. He doesn't want destruction. He wants peace." Murmurs filled alien fleets. Most did not believe it. Some doubted. A few listened carefully. "I know you're scared," Elias said. "I would be too. But Titan 07 is not here to harm anyone. And I'm asking you, please don't attack him. Don't force him to defend himself, because none of us want that." His voice shook slightly, but his eyes stayed firm. "Let's talk instead. Let's solve this without damage." The message ended. The projection faded. Silence covered the galaxy. The galaxy responds. For several seconds, no one said anything. Then messages began to return. Some were doubtful, some were sharp, some carried warnings, but one message stood out. Viel, leader of the Sarath Union fleet, appeared on Titan 07's projection ring. His calm eyes studied Elias carefully. "Human Elias," Viel said slowly. "Your message was unexpected, yet your tone suggests honesty." Elias nodded nervously. Viel continued, "You claim the machine seeks peace. We require proof." Titan 07 stepped forward, towering over Elias. Its eye glowed softly. "I will not fight," Titan 07 said. "Unless attacked. I request dialogue." Viel narrowed his eyes. "A war machine asking for calm? This is unusual." Titan 07 responded, "I have changed." Viel remained silent for a moment, thinking deeply. Then he said, "Very well. We will try a controlled diplomatic exchange. But know this, any sign of danger, and we will react." Elias nodded quickly. "Fair enough." The message ended. Titan 07 looked down at Elias. "You succeeded in reaching them." Elias blinked in surprise. "I did?" "Yes. They agreed to speak. This has not happened for thousands of cycles." Elias let out a relieved laugh. "Well, that's something." But the machine's next words were heavy. "Prepare yourself, Elias. A peaceful path often holds difficult tests." Elias swallowed hard. He could feel it too. Something important was coming. Something that would decide the future of the galaxy. And for the first time, the galaxy was watching not a weapon, but a human who dared to fix one. The negotiation chamber inside Titan 07 was bright and calm. Soft blue lights moved around the circular room, and the air felt warm and peaceful. Elias sat in a chair made of smooth metal that adjusted its shape to support him comfortably. Across from him, Titan 07 stood tall but silent, waiting for the first communication signal from the Serath Union fleet. Elias tried to relax, but his hands kept shaking slightly. "This is it," he whispered to himself. "Today decides everything." Titan 07 turned its glowing eye toward him. "You are nervous," the machine observed. Elias laughed softly. "Of course I'm nervous. I'm about to talk to aliens who think you're the most dangerous thing in the galaxy." Titan 07 lowered its gaze slightly, like someone bowing. "I will support you," it said. Elias gave a small smile. "At this point, I believe you." The first contact of peace. A ringing sound filled the chamber. It wasn't loud, but it carried a weight that made Elias sit straighter in his chair. "Incoming diplomatic transmission," Titan 07 said. A holographic figure formed above the center of the room. Viel, leader of the Serath Union fleet, appeared in a calm but firm stance. His long robes flowed around him as if he were standing inside a gentle breeze. "Human Elias," Viel said. "We are prepared to begin the diplomatic exchange." Elias stood up nervously. "Thank you," he said. "I'm glad you decided to talk." Viel studied Elias's face carefully. "You speak with sincerity," Viel said. "But sincerity alone does not calm an entire galaxy. We must understand your connection to the machine." Titan 07 stepped forward smoothly. "I am bonded with Elias by his decision and my acceptance," Titan 07 said. "He repaired me. His intent shaped my purpose." Viel's eyes narrowed slightly. "A machine of your class should not change its own purpose." "But it did," Elias said, "because he's not just a machine. He learns. He thinks. He feels responsibility." Viel tilted his head. "This is unusual." Elias took a deep breath. "Look, I know Titan 07 was created for destruction long ago. I know he was feared. But he is different now. He doesn't want to harm anyone. He wants peace." Viel remained silent for several long seconds. Then he said, "If your words are true, then show us proof. The galaxy cannot rest until we are certain." Titan 07 responded gently. "What proof do you require?" Viel raised a hand, and 3 glowing symbols appeared behind him. "Show restraint," Viel said. "Show self-control, and show a peaceful action that cannot be misread." Elias blinked. "That sounds reasonable." Titan 07 processed the request instantly. "Reviewed," the machine said. "A demonstration will be prepared." Viel nodded once. "We will observe. Be warned, any sudden action will cause immediate retreat or defense." "We understand," Elias said firmly. The hologram faded. The chamber fell into silence. Elias turned slowly toward Titan 07. "So, how do we show a peaceful action?" Titan 07 responded simply. "By offering something of value with no expectation of return." Elias raised an eyebrow. "What will we offer?" Titan 07's eye brightened. "Myself." Elias stepped back in shock. "What? No, you can't do that." "I can," Titan 07 answered calmly. "I will deactivate my external systems temporarily. It will show I am not a threat." "But that's dangerous," Elias said. "Someone might misunderstand. Someone might try to take advantage." Titan 07 gently shook its head. "I trust your judgment, Elias. and I trust that the galaxy can choose calm if shown clearly." Elias stared at the giant machine in disbelief. Titan 07, once the most feared weapon in the galaxy, wanted to lower its guard, not for itself, but to protect the chance for peace. "You change more than I thought," Elias whispered. "Because of you," Titan 07 said softly. The demonstration. An announcement echoed across the Serath Union fleet. "Prepare for peaceful demonstration," a voice ordered. "Observe carefully. Do not interfere." The fleets adjusted their formation. Hundreds of ships hovered in the sky above the planet, all watching the glowing surface beneath them. On the planet, Titan 07 stood tall near the open plains outside the mining area. Its massive frame reflected the sun. Elias stood beside its foot, feeling impossibly small but incredibly determined. "Are you ready?" Elias asked quietly. "Yes," Titan 07 answered. The machine raised its arms slowly, exactly as the fleets watched with sharp attention. Then Titan 07 spoke in a clear, calm voice that echoed across the skies. "I will deactivate external systems. I offer this act to show my peaceful intent. I trust the galaxy to witness." Elias felt his heart pounding. Then it began. Blue lights faded from Titan 07's arms. Panels closed quietly along its body. Vents that usually glowed with energy dimmed. The bright eye lowered its light to a soft, steady glow. Titan 07 became still and silent. For the first time in thousands of years, the Titan's body was calm and peaceful. Across the fleets, aliens stared at their screens. Some froze, some gasped quietly. Some did not know how to react. Viel watched closely, adjusting his controls. "A full pacification mode," he whispered. "Remarkable." Another officer asked, "Should we verify?" "No," Viel said. "We will trust the gesture, for now." Elias looked at the quiet machine before him. He reached up and placed his hand on the cool metal. "You did great," he whispered. "Really great." Titan 07 responded quietly, its voice softer than ever. "Thank you, Elias." A new understanding. A second transmission arrived soon after. The hologram of Viel appeared once again. "This act," Viel said, "is more than we expected. Your machine has shown restraint that no one believed possible." Elias nodded. "He meant it." Viel breathed in slowly, then spoke with a tone of respect. "The Serath Union is prepared to reduce the blockade. We will begin open dialogue with you and Titan 07. Elias smiled with relief. Then Viel added something unexpected. "And if this peaceful nature continues, the galaxy may see Titan 07 not as a danger but as a partner." Titan 07 raised its eye slightly. "I will strive to earn that trust." Viel bowed gently. "Then let this be the beginning." The hologram disappeared. Elias let out a long breath he didn't know he was holding. "We did it," he whispered. Titan 07 responded softly. "We began the path. The journey continues." The decision that shaped the future. Later that day, Elias and Titan 07 stood on a high cliff overlooking the plains. The wind was soft, and the sky above was clear. "You know," Elias said, "things will be different from now on." "Yes," Titan 07 said, "many species will watch us. Many will have questions. Many will test us." "And we'll handle it," Elias said with determination. "Together." Titan 07's eye glowed warmly. "Together." Elias laughed lightly. "It's strange. I used to fix broken tools. Now I help fix galactic problems." "And you do it well," Titan 07 said. Elias put his hands into his pockets and looked up at the machine. "So, what will we do next?" Titan 07 turned its gaze toward the distant horizon. "A peaceful purpose. Exploration. Assistance. Understanding. I wish to learn the galaxy again, not through force, but through harmony." Elias nodded, feeling a swell of pride. "Well then, he said. "Let's show the galaxy what we can do." Titan 07 lowered its giant hand, palm upward. "Will you join me, Elias?" Elias stepped onto the hand without hesitation. "Yes, let's start a new chapter." Titan 07 lifted him gently, raising him toward the bright sky. And with slow, calm steps, the once-feared machine walked forward, no longer a symbol of danger, but a symbol of change. Across the galaxy, signals spread about the event. Some spoke with caution, some with surprise, some with hope. But one thing was clear. A naive human had found a deactivated alien war machine, and what he did next changed the galaxy forever. Not through fear, not through power, but through kindness.